Another lovely Wednesday to you all. Good morning and welcome to another edition of Newspaper Review. I'm your host, Adeleke Azan. We have various headlines to talk about, starting from the flood in Maiduguri to the government fund. So we'll start with the Nation newspaper. On the front page of the Nation newspaper, we have federal government dollar bond attracts $90 million subscription. Moving to the front page of the First News newspaper, Maiduguri faces snake crocodile invasion as flood ravaged Nigeria. On the front page of the Daily News Hub, residents panic as wild animals convict escaped from zoo. Moving to the front page of the Nature newspaper, Tinubu expresses concern as flood ravaged Borno state capital. Well, I'm not alone in the studio. With me is Citizen Lola Way. Good morning, ma.
Good morning, my dear. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning. So, starting from the front page of the Nation newspaper, federal government dollar bond attracts $90 million subscription.
Wow, that's a good one. That's the federal government dollar bond has been able to attract that huge amount of money is an indication that investors still have confidence in the viability of the Nigerian economy, and this should also give hope to this should renew Nigerians' hope in the Nigerian projects. I'm a Nigerian. I'm always passionate about anything about Nigeria, and I'm always optimistic that the Nigerian projects will succeed. Nigeria will not become a failed state. It requires the cooperation of every Nigerian. All hands must be on deck to build the nation that we all be proud of. I'm so glad to say it's good news, music to my ears, because all that we have been hearing has always been bad news about our economy, the debts, and the hardship in the land. But however, despite the hardship, despite the huge debts that Nigeria is carrying, that investors still have confidence in the economy, the viability of our economy. I thank God for that.
Thank you very much. Moving to the front page of the Daily Suns, flood ravaged 29 states, 22 killed, 386, 239 displaced, now 9,000 houses submerged.
That's bad news.
That's really bad news.
I want to start by commiserating with the families of those who have lost loved ones, those who have lost their properties, and those that are also experiencing threats of their labor being lost. I commiserate with all of them. But I am sad that in Nigeria we are usually reactive instead of being proactive. I remember that in 2023, in 2022, the immediate past president of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, set up a committee that should look into the issues of flood to put an end to flood crisis in Nigeria. So it is disheartening to note that this year, the flooding that Nigeria has experienced is said to be the worst in 30 years, which means we have not learned any lesson from all the cases of flooding that had happened in the past, and that the committee that was put in place by the immediate past president of Nigeria have nothing to show for being in office. I want to use this opportunity to challenge this present government to sit down and do something about the incessant cases of flood in Nigeria. We should not be experiencing flooding every year if we do the needful. There should be adequate education of members of the public, because some of these flooding are as a result of human activities, the abuse of the environment. Then federal government and the state government of the federal government of Nigeria and the state government of Borno State also ought to have prepared, knowing that the dam, the Borno Dam, was going to collapse and overflow its its bands. So things ought to have been put in place. And we have environmentalists in Nigeria who have been talking, who have been making noise, who have been calling the attention of the government to things that can be done to prevent the occurrence of yearly flooding in Nigeria. Because flood comes with huge cost to citizens and government. Those that have been displaced now are faced with huge challenges, just at about the time that schools are about to resume. Those that have been displaced, the displacements will affect the education of their children. Their properties have been lost. Some of them, their sources of livelihood have also been taken away. Borno is known to be the source of our food supply.
Basket of the nation.
I don't want to call it basket of the food basket, because I know that Benue State will start disputing that with me. But it's a very great, huge source of our food supply in Nigeria. So those farmers whose farms might have been ravaged by the flood, their labor has been lost, and it also affects. We're battling with the issue of food security. That is also going to add to it. So there's nothing NEMA is going to do that we cushion, that we assist with the education of those children that have been displaced. Knowing fully well that Borno is still facing the issues of Boko Haram attack. The state is yet to fully recover. So the cost of this flood is quite huge and should be prevented, because Nigeria is still the world capital of poverty. This is one of the reasons why Nigeria is the world capital of poverty. All hands must be on deck. Every citizen must do the right thing. We must stop throwing refuse in the drainage when it's raining. The refuse will end somewhere. We block the drainage and cause flooding in the area where the drainage is blocked. We are putting the lives and properties of other Nigerians at risk. Governments at all levels must also do the needful. They must ensure that all drainages are free of debris at all times.
Thank you very much. Still on the front page of the Daily Sun's newspaper, NCDC confirms 55 Mpox cases in Nigeria.
I'm not surprised that the number is going up, because I'm yet to see effective public enlightenment about the causes of monkeypox, the symptoms, and how to respond to it. All governments at all levels, I said it earlier, that the government and the citizens were always reactive to challenges. We are not proactive, preventing crises from happening. Now we have 55 Nigerians down with monkeypox.
Yes.
If something is not done quickly to enlighten members of the public on how monkeypox spreads, the symptoms, and what should be done, and giving us adequate information about the provision they have made to curtail the spread and to also take care of those that are down with monkeypox, how to trace them. The lessons we learned during Ebola and COVID-19 ought to have aided us in preparing and preventing the cases of monkeypox from rising in Nigeria and in every state and local governments.
Yeah, thank you very much. Still on the issue of flood, Anambra farmers in Fair embarks on premature crop harvesting.
You know, I talked about those who are facing the threat of the flood, the cost implication. Food products, agricultural products that are harvested prematurely will not attract the kind of price that they should attract, and that's huge loss to those farmers. Huge loss. And we said Nigeria is facing food crisis, insecurity. We're complaining about hardship, about the high cost of food items in the markets. These are some of the reasons why the prices of those agricultural products will also go up in the market. We understand from what you read earlier, about 29 states,
yes, 29 states
are faced with the issue, with the crisis of flood. So let us imagine the huge cost to the citizens and to the governments. I do not know how NEMA will support those farmers that have to harvest the agricultural products prematurely. I do not know how NEMA will cushion the loss of those farmers whose farmlands have been washed away. And then talking about the risk that you mentioned earlier of citizens having to live with crocodiles, dangerous snakes, and then prisoners who escaped from prison as a result of the flood. Dangerous criminals are already
among the citizens,
working freely with us. Those that should be taken kept in the correctional center where they will receive help to become better citizens of the country are already posing a threat to the lives and properties of Nigerian citizens, because we do not know which part of the country they have escaped to, and we do not know what havoc they are capable of wreaking before they are rearrested or before they go back to submit themselves to the government.
Which most of them won't even do.
No, those who have short term, whose term is just remaining just a very short period, we go back, because they know that if they are rearrested, then it will be worse for them.
Thank you very much. Still on the front page of the Daily Sun's newspaper, we will get Bello Tarji alive, says CDS.
I pray they do. And then this also, they require the cooperation of all Nigerians. Like I always say, if you see something, say something. All those of us people who have useful information should make it available to the security agencies, because they are not spirits. We know the movements of these, those who know the movements, the way these terrorists move, should provide the information to those who can do something about it. Then there's also, citizens should also not give information about the movements of our security agencies, because we have had instances where they were ambushed based on the information provided by members of the communities they passed through to the terrorists. So the issue of corruption. Some members of the armed forces are themselves terrorists. This is where we need to start teaching every Nigerian from childhood how to be a patriotic citizen and the benefits that accrues from being patriotic. Our religious leaders, our traditional leaders must stop glorifying illegal wealth. They should stop celebrating people whose source of wealth are not known. Enough of glamorizing material wealth. The character of individual members of the society is what should be celebrated, not their material wealth, because we do not know the source. Some we pretend to be doing something, whereas they are laundering the wealth. Until when an actor was caught in Lagos and alleged to be involved in kidnapping, nobody would have expected such a person to be involved in such crime. And we have seen where police officers were also arrested and arraigned and charged with colluding with criminals. So, material wealth, we should start downplaying. Our religious leaders, our traditional rulers should please start downplaying the importance of material wealth for the good of the society. And then we, the citizens, must stop hero worshipping those whose sources of wealth we do not know. We should celebrate hard those dignity of labor, those who engage in activities, businesses that we can see, civil servants that are living within their means, not above their means, are those ones that should be celebrated. Officers of security agencies that are living within their means and that are putting their best in ensuring the security and safety of lives and property in Nigeria are the ones that should be celebrated. Our musicians should stop laying emphasis on material wealth. These are things, if you are that wealthy, what are you doing to your neighbors? How are you helping your neighbors? What are you doing in your community to ensure that that wealth spreads around and that no one is left behind? No one goes to bed hungry.
Thank you very much. Now we'll move to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, thousands displayed as flood wreaks havoc in Maiduguri. Blame Obi on Oti for crisis in Labour Party deputy national chairman. It's quite
unfortunate. This is a party that the youth had absolute confidence in.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we have seen that all the politicians are the same, irrespective of
their background,
the political party. They want to express their interest, their personal interest through. Those political parties are mere vehicles. We should always look at individuals, their character, their antecedents, their capacity, their competence, their character, most especially. Who is this person? Aisha Yusufu, the allegation is coming back and forth. She is denying the allegations against her by the Labour Party chairman, Mr. Abure. Okay. And she's alleging also that Mr. Abure should come clean and account for the funds raised since 2022 for the presidential campaign. There must be transparency in all our political activities. All political office holders must ensure that there's transparency in the way they handle public funds. or campaign funds, as it is in the
In
case
the case
of the Labour Party, because the issue in contention is that of the management of funds during the campaign. We do not know who to blame because we do not know the truth.
And they are passing blames on each other.
Yes. The allegation is
Going back and forth. Exactly. So we move to the front page of, we've talked about this, Business Day newspaper. Nigeria raises over 90 billion naira in 900 million dollars in first domestic dollar bond. NCDC confirms 55 monkeypox cases. Nobody is above the law. Ajaro, nobody is above the law, says the federal government. Bandit killer Bello, 30 others will soon be captured, says CDS. In deepening its capital market, Nigeria raises over $900 million 5-year inaugural domestic federal government US dollar bond. Nature newspaper, Tinubu expresses concern as flood ravages Borno State capital. Governor Abiodun to roll out 100 CGN business on hire purchase.
Wow. I think I like that because it's going to cushion the effects of the rising cost of fuel, which will have great impacts on transportation. So if 100 CNG buses are bought and are put on the road in Ogun State, it will make life easy for all citizens of Ogun State. I want all other state governments to replicate what Ogun State government and the Lagos State government is doing. Lagos State government is not relying on only road transportation. They are also investing hugely on water transportation and train. I think, and then they have, Lagos State has always been on the forefront of road transportation with BRT buses. And then immediately the fuel subsidy was removed. They reduced the fare by 50% to make it affordable for the citizens. We need to see CNG buses on our roads. And then government should also assist car owners to also transit from petroleum engine vehicles to CNG vehicles too, so that the cost of movement will be reduced, and that's because that will also impact the cost of goods and services. I also want to use the same token to talk about electricity supply. Federal government must bring down the tariff and ensure that there's regular power supply. These are areas where we want to see changes that will make life meaningful for Nigerians. Cost of assessing qualitative health must also be looked at. It is not enough for our government to build roads, construct bridges, build markets, when we can't access qualitative and affordable health services at our public health centers. There are times I once heard that some people will go to the health centers in their neighborhood and drugs will be available, but they will not be given on the flimsy excuse that government has not given them approval
to distribute them?
Yes, to dispense those drugs to members of the public who are ill and need those drugs, even 2 weeks after the drugs have been received. I need the government to look at that, so that to reduce the hardship occasioned by the removal of fuel subsidy, floating of the naira, and other government policies.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you very much. And with that, we come to the end of today's edition of Newspaper Review. Join us tomorrow, same time, same station. Good morning. Thanks for watching.